Marriott Hotel. So today is February the 21st, 2013. It's been a month and 13 days since the beginning of this year. And as you all can see, just as I told you, as I predicted, it's on and cracking, and it's a whole year and it's just beginning. And we at 30. 30 is the gauge setting for the amount of energy that is going to be expelled, or the amount of energy that's available for the eradication of Satan off the planet. Satan being the energy of the European male, the energy being perpetuated by greed and the quest for openness and extravagances and the needed establishment of decadence around the planet. See, by nature, a rat would destroy the house of the unratly. It's just by osmosis that the average person does not want to live in a house with rats. Rats get into things that you want to be untarnished and available for you when you need it. They always destroy everything that they get to be feces in it, disease, decadence. The need to eradicate them also cause more decadence, because it takes decadence to eradicate decadence. Destruction only begets destruction. So it's devil actions necessary for the eradication of devil actions. So what you normally do is let the actions of a devil trap himself. Now when you have circumstances where you poison the same water you have to drink, cut out the same uterus that you have to come from, drop a bomb that you never should have been making in the first place on the planet that you live on, and then have the nerves to despise the essence that you are origin from. This is ridiculous. So because of that, the universe sends you prophets, as well as gods, as well as prophetess and goddesses. Someone, of course, try to push that all out the picture and say this is solely the property of us, one nation of people, so we could be brutal and greedy and selfish and claim everything in the name of our God and don't care about the decadence that we call kind of description of a rat existence is what I'm getting at. The feces of a rat will contaminate everything, as do where the people around the contaminated goods will not recognize the goods as being contaminated. In short, and in generality of what I'm getting at is that some people like things the way they are and bring opposition to the prophets and the God and the goddesses and the prophecies. So therefore, it's a constant battle. There must be faults, so my diligence is based on the fact that I'm aware of this. And I was well selected by the universe to do this job because they know my energy. They also know that my aggression is motivated more by my knowledge of ownership of every person on this earth. So I'm going to go at this and let you see some of the work of the prophets that's getting information from the sunlight and what they're proclaiming.
Emmanuel, God is still saying something. This is Ruth reporting for Emmanuel TV. On Sunday, the 17th of January 2010, Prophet TV Joshua read aloud a list of prophecies for the year. Among them was a prophecy concerning the nation China. This is what he said.
Prayer for the nation China over earthquake that will cause a big destruction. And I'm seeing children and many trapped.
2 weeks later, on Sunday the 31st of January 2010, Prophet TV Joshua read aloud the list of prophecies a second time, giving more detail about the earthquake that would take place in China. These were his words.
Like the case of the China, I mentioned of China over earthquake, It's a disaster. Nothing will work. No school, nothing. People will be dying. There is nowhere people will run to. Too cold that your blood will be seized.
On the morning of Wednesday, the 14th of April 2010, a 6.9 earthquake shook northwest China, killing hundreds and injuring more than 10,000 as schools, houses and offices collapsed. The 10-kilometer deep quake was centered in the mountains that divide the Qinghai province from the Tibet Autonomous Region. People were trapped in the rubble of school buildings and homes, and survivors in the mountainous region passed the night in freezing temperatures. Local rescue officials said that the death toll has risen to over 1,000, with at least 300 still missing. Let's watch the breaking news.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Hello, we begin with the breaking news coming out of China, where a series of earthquakes has killed at least 67 people. Well, that's the word from Chinese media, which say the quake hit Qinghai province in a remote area near Tibet. Video from China's CCTV shows soldiers and police trying to free people trapped under the rubble of collapsed homes and buildings. The US Geological Survey says the quake registered at 6.9 in magnitude.
Another earthquake hits China. Hundreds are killed, thousands are injured, and many more are trapped.
Now, how is that for the sun talking to you? Look at this spiral.
From CNN London, I'm Monita Rajpal. This is World Report. The rescuers are trying to reach people trapped in collapsed buildings following today's quakes in Western China. At least 400 people are believed to be dead. More than 10,000 are injured. The U.S. Geological Survey says the main quake was of a magnitude 6.9. It was followed by strong aftershocks. They struck as people were just beginning their day in Qinghai province in a remote area near Tibet. School children are among those trapped this hour. Rescue efforts are being hindered by telecommunications problems with phone lines down. Well, we are staying on top of the very latest developments for you. CNN's Christy Liu Stout joins us now from our quake desk in Hong Kong. Christy.
Yeah, it's been 14 hours since the initial quake struck, and we're getting some very clear pictures coming in. Now, this earthquake, it hit this morning in the remote Chinese province of Qinghai. Let's show you some of those latest pictures that I'm talking about. Now, these images of the rubble, they came in just a short time ago. Houses completely flattened. And I should add that many of the homes there are made of simple materials like wood and mud. Victims believed to be trapped under those collapsed buildings. Thousands of Chinese soldiers, they're making their way to the disaster zone. And the area has been rocked by several strong aftershocks, including one at magnitude 5.8. The toll, these are the latest numbers, 400 dead, 10,000 injured. Now, those numbers could very well go up. Now, power has been knocked out, houses completely flattened, as you see here, victims trapped under the collapsed buildings. And rescuers are using shovels and even their bare hands to reach them because the proper equipment just hasn't made it to the area. Now, they're also, amidst all this, trying to fix a cracked reservoir. Thankfully, more help is on the way, significant help. Thousands of Chinese soldiers are making their way to this remote western area of the country near Tibet, and they're bringing with them thousands of tents, quilts, and coats for the earthquake victims. Qinghai, it sits some 12,000 feet above sea level, so it gets very cold at night. It is 9:10 p.m. local time right now. No doubt many survivors will be facing a cold night outdoors tonight. But some people who live near the epicenter say they haven't received any help yet. In fact, our Beijing bureau, they spoke to a resident of Yushu. They managed to get through despite the down power lines. And Jia Shi, he said this, quote, "We have no food, no water today. I bought some mineral water and instant noodles for my children. We have never seen anything like this. People are terrified." It's a tough rescue effort ahead. Andrew, they have to deal with high altitudes, they have to deal with roads that have been damaged, and strong wind.
Prayer for the nation, China, over earthquake that will cause a big destruction.
The powerful quake toppled about 15,000 homes in and around Yushu County and caused more than 100,000 people to flee the area. In Jegu, the town closest to the epicenter, more than 85% of the mud brick houses collapsed. and thousands of residents got buried under the wreckage. Authorities in Beijing have declared a top-level emergency after a region of western China was hit by this deadly earthquake.
We begin with breaking news tonight. New details out of China. The death toll rising after multiple strong earthquakes devastated a remote region. The race to find survivors is on. Now, we've just established connection with our correspondent on the ground. We're going to take you to ground zero. We begin, though, with the breaking news out of China. Tonight, new information, and the news is devastating. According to state-run media, at least 589 people were killed, more than 10,000 injured in a series of strong earthquakes that hit Qinghai province early Wednesday. It's a remote, poor region. Many victims, including school kids, are reportedly buried under debris. At this hour, rescuers are frantically digging to try to get them out. CNN's John Vall spent 14 hours traveling from Beijing to this remote region in China. He joins us from in front of a hotel where about 1,000 people have so far been evacuated. John, what are you seeing? What's the latest?
Yeah, hi Anderson. Behind me right now is all that's left of, in fact, two adjoining hotels. Both of these buildings were pancaked by the tremor, and right now you can see some residents and Buddhist monks. They're on top of the debris. They're using their hands, ropes, and shovels to try and move these piles of twisted steel and concrete to see if there are any survivors underneath. Most of the people, or many people rather, who died in this quake died when these two buildings collapsed. Others are here looking for anything of value.
Now, this is going to sound horrible when I say it, but I want you to think about something. Do you think that before this disaster happened, that all those people was willing to go out of their way to do so much work for each other, to help each other? Nope. Want me to tell you why they wasn't? Because they was all busy utilizing their bodily strength and the mental energy that they possess to fiend for their existence. You better believe that. That's the only thing was on their mind. The daily sustainment ritual that is demonstrated in their lives through the power structure that controls them. They have no other type of avenue to do anything other than that. With every nation on this planet being controlled by tyrants because it had to spread. See, if you have let me explain to you like this. America's problem with the North and the South was based on just supply and demand. Let me explain to you what I mean. There was a demand of England to supply soldiers to the soil over here because of the demand for the soil over here. That's what all life is based on. Someone demanding something and supplying what's necessary to attain it. A lot of barbaric consideration about how things should be acquired always is demonstrated through violence and aggression. You can tell barbaric people by the way they achieve materialism. If you achieve materialism by stealing it from people and not hesitating to murder them or enslave them, these are signs of barbarism. Okay, back to supply and demand. After someone implements a start off of barbarism, they set up a system to supply them with sustainment on demand, which means that when they demand these people go to work, because what it's all about is having control over you to make you become a cell, a battery, to do what you're told. That's what it's all about. It's not about going to work, it's about doing what you're told. That's where the power comes in at. Having people to do what you're told. See? All the beautiful women on the earth right now have been trained to be submissive with men, to men with money. The wise one can see past that, but for the most, all it takes is for you to have money, and you can have a beautiful woman. If you want that trashy thinking girl or woman. A real man don't want that. You don't want a woman you can purchase.